That sounds pretty good.
Is something on fire? I'm sorry, Cousin Mark.
No.
I can smell something burning.
Burning?
Yes, I smell a burning smell.
Well, there's candles on.
It's like when you leave the iron on. It's like when you leave the iron on something
hair.
too long. Yes.
Oh my God.
Is
The kitchen's on fire.
Is there a fire?
Well,
Hey, hang on, there's a fire.
Oh boy, don't burn the house down.
I'm getting water. I'm getting water.
Holy shit, people. They're talking about getting water and throwing water on. Hopefully, everything's okay.
I don't know if we're supposed to put this on the top or... Oh God. Okay.
That was just a big flash.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Courtney.
Join us as we delve into true crime, paranormal encounters, and all things spooky.
Grab your flashlight and get ready to wander into the darkness with us.
This is Wicked Wanderings. Hello, Courtney.
Hi, Hannah.
And hello, Mark. Welcome back.
Here in the virtual flesh.
In the virtual flesh. We are here for part 2 of Mark's episode. So if you haven't listened to last week's episode, make sure you go back and listen to that one first so you don't miss any of the details.
There you go.
Trust me, last week's was really interesting.
You don't want to miss it.
No.
No, you don't want to miss that. This guy was quite the character.
Although at first you did open by saying he was a nice gentleman.
This nice, clean-cut gentleman. But, you know, I opened that way because that is exactly how he looked. He looked very presentable, nothing like a monster. And I'm bringing him up just like Bundy.
Oh, 5 minutes and 50 seconds in and Mark brings up Bundy.
Love a good Bundy.
You know, that's it. You look at these guys and they really don't look like they're what they do.
Yep.
That's what makes it so scary. That's what makes it, so scary is it's right hiding in plain sight.
Yep, absolutely.
And that brings us into part 2, where he's becoming more brazen and he's looking for publicity.
Okay, you got me hooked. I'm interested.
Yeah, just like BTK did when he, writes a letter to the editor of the newspaper and says, "How many people do I have to kill before I get any recognition?"
Look at me, look at me.
That's it. That's how these people are. They're only looking for themselves and their own gratification.
Attention motivated, function attention.
That's right. So with him looking to be in the spotlight, the police is making a plea to get him to turn himself in. Obviously, that doesn't happen.
Right.
At this point, there's now starts a series of letters that were written and sent to the police office. They were sent to the lab to see if they could get any biological things off of it. And one of the things that they had found was that the person who wrote the letter was a bee secretor. So they had the blood mixed with the semen when things like that happen, which only 6% of men have it.
Wait a minute.
We've had that conversation before on a different episode, I think, too.
Yes.
Maybe it was, I think I also found it when I was doing the babysitter.
Can someone please remind me
About what?
about that conversation?
Hannah might have been 3 sheets to the wind, maybe 4.
Listen.
Maybe 7.
Yeah.
Listen.
We did. We had that conversation about how only a certain percentage of men have that. And there was another case we were talking about that was how they determined that was somebody they were looking at because they fit that profile as well.
Yeah, and back then at this time, that was the only thing they could do was analyze blood types and whatnot. Yeah. After the letter showed up, there was a cassette tape that he was using to taunt the police.
Of course.
Throwing things out there and saying different things about how you're not going to catch me and this and that. And almost like the Jack the Ripper letters that was sent during that time, the Dear Boss letters.
I always feel like these are the kids that were really good at tag. Na, 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 you're not going to catch me.
You ain't going to get me.
So was he using his actual voice on the cassette or was he misconstruing
He was.
it? Interesting. Very, very ballsy. I figured because he was attention seeking that it was like, I'm hiding right in plain sight. I don't even have to do anything to hide it.
That's it. We come to this point where April of 79, he he takes the life of 19-year-old Josephine Whitaker. This is the one that we had talked about before, where he had her helping look at the vehicle because the vehicle wouldn't start.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it always
He ended up killing her when she was looking under the hood, and he dragged her out into a field.
Right, that's right. We did talk about that.
Yeah, she wasn't a prostitute. The drag marks indicated she was attacked at the road and was dragged into the field. She was not a prostitute, so that showed everybody that all women were at risk.
Right.
Because the police at this time were watching the red light district, and he knew that they were doing this. For him to go find a prostitute and do his thing, he was changing his actions up to throw him off.
Was it now that they just might have looked a little alluring and he just assumed she was a prostitute, or is he just changing his MO like totally? Does anyone speculate? Or do
I'm
you know?
assuming he's changing it because he's trying to see how far he can push the police. That's what it sounds like based on what he's described.
Yes. Plus, it was all, as we were getting into it last week, was the fact that he hated women.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he had the issue with his mother cheating on his father, and his father showed him everything. It started off with prostitutes because they were easy targets. Then he just started grabbing people off the street.
Right. And prostitutes have the sex work piece as well. So it's
Right.
probably easier in his brain to say, like, women are, you know, whatever the thing he thinks about their sexual acts. And then he finds women who do that for work. And I'm sure that that's an easy lump, easy generalization for him to make.
Yep. A couple of letters were still coming in. The police still had the audio tapes. They had a stamp on the envelope from the post office and a voice that had an accent that narrowed where he could be from.
Let me guess. Yorkshire?
Well, it was like I think they said it was like a Cockney accent.
Oh, okay.
Which was in a different part of England.
It's amazing just for such a small part of a continent how their accents do change. It really is amazing.
I mean, ours are kind of like that too.
Yeah, but America's
exactly.
huge.
Look at
America's huge.
Listen to Mark talk.
Yeah, but you guys are out there with your accents, and then I'm out here with the Boston accent.
Listen,
do we have an accent?
We do. We have an accent.
Yeah, yours is more Connecticut based.
Ew, what? No one likes Connecticut.
I know that, but I didn't say New York, so.
Does mine sound like dragons?
Where the dragons are from. I don't know if he knows that story, does he?
I can't. So when I went to college, a quick segue, I went to Maine for 2 years, and then I went to Worcester State for my last 2 years. And so when I moved into Worcester State, my dad's helping me move my stuff in, and my dad will talk to anybody. He's like the mayor of every place he's ever been. So somebody
That's
said,
me.
"Oh, where are you from?" And he was like, "The Berkshires." And they immediately were like, "Oh, where the dragons are." And he was like, sure, I guess. And then every person who asked us for the rest of that day, we got in the truck. He's like, what the fuck do they mean where the dragons are? And we never understood. People sometimes will still say it to me, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like
I've never heard that.
Like, it's very odd. And people in Worcester area seem to be the ones that do it. And I'm like, you're really not that far from Western Mass. Right?
I mean, at least from this section of Western Mass, like the lower part of Western Mass, I know everyone will call North Adams and up like the armpit of Massachusetts.
Yeah, great.
Which isn't lovely at all.
I'm a dragon-loving armpit.
I've always said about Massachusetts, it's got that little bump on the bottom part of the state above Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have the tattoo, so it's got that little
kind of
bump
like
right there.
Springfield East Long Meadow dips.
Yeah.
Dips in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi there, Rob here from the future editing this lovely podcast. I just wanted to come on here and give you a quick correction. That little part that dips down into Connecticut is actually Southwick, Massachusetts. And in fact, in the 1800s, there was a war between Connecticut and Massachusetts for that parcel of land. And now back to the podcast.
That is the little tab that holds it from sliding into the ocean.
I mean, I do like to think we are the backbone.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, we're where it all started, right?
Sure.
We're
That's
the
right.
badasses.
All right, so back to the killing.
Back to murder.
The only context you can say that in appropriately.
That's it. So this time he gets Barbara Leach in September of 79. So he's got a few months now. She only had a short walk home, but she never made it. That one was tough for most people, and it started to rile up the public again. The public was trying everything they could do to protect the women. And this is where it started to aggravate the women of England. They were told to go nowhere without a male companion.
That would
Fuck
drive
that
me
shit.
nuts.
And they're pissed off because that's who's doing this, is the men.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know, there's a guy out there taking all this up.
Yeah.
All this time, the police formed Project R, a massive PR campaign to get the public engaged with finding the Ripper. They did massive advertising with the Ripper's handwriting for all of them to look at. And then they were continuously playing the tapes in different places for them to hear the voice. And one of the investigators was reading the letters, and he actually made a connection with Jack the Ripper.
Wait a minute.
The way he was writing the letters, it was almost like the Dear Boss letters were scripts for him to write his letter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The same way Jack the Ripper
So a copycat
haunted the police.
situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like a glorifying of Jack. Yeah.
This was when they figured out that it was a hoax. The letters, the tapes, it was all sent in by this crackpot that was looking to get publicity.
Oh my God. So it wasn't even the person who was doing it.
Nope. So the police were all going down one avenue, and it wasn't even the right one.
And that's so sad too, because there was probably so much money and manpower, and all of those resources were dumped into this one.
Oh yeah,
track.
millions of dollars.
Oh God.
That's a lot. That's a
That's
lot
a
now.
face palm moment.
Yeah, thanks, asshole.
Right. Maybe he paid him $20 to do it.
Yeah, he might have. A £5 note.
Right. That's true. Yeah. England. He better bring the change though, right?
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser, taser, taser! He's going to shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shot fired, shot fired.
Stay out, you got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
That's right. So, Maureen Leah was a lecturer at the University of Bedfordshire. And she was appalled that she was thought of as a prostitute because he ended up attacking her.
Well, I could see why she'd be pissed about
Yeah.
that.
I'd be more pissed that he attacked me, but yeah.
And she survived. And, and she just was beside herself that I'm a college professor working on things, and you think I'm a prostitute to come and take me out?
Maybe she was a threat to something he was trying to do on the back end.
Yeah, very possible.
Was there an age range to these women at all?
I was
that
just
we
going to
know of?
ask that.
In my notes, I have all the ages down. The youngest one, I think, was 16.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was it 16 or 12?
Oh, jeez.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
Either way.
16. The youngest one was 16. I think the oldest one was 41.
Okay.
Most of his attacks were just opportunity.
And this isn't grandma he's attacking either.
No. Most likely, he had his girlfriend that was cheating on him, which was young. And then his mother, who was older, was cheating on her father. And, so looked like he was targeting women in those age groups. In November of 80, so we just went over a year before he attacks again. He was attacked on a Monday night, and the police found a bloody handbag on Monday, but nothing else. On Tuesday, a passerby found her only 60 yards from the handbag.
Looked really hard, I guess.
Yeah, and the public, again, was really pissed that the police just dropped the ball on that one.
Right.
So guess what the police do?
Uh-oh.
They put a curfew on the women. So this man's killing these women, and the women that are out there are being segregated.
Wouldn't that have made more sense to put a curfew on the men?
I know. Why are they penalizing
keep
us?
the people who are killing at home? Or what? now he knows they're all at home. He can just break into any house, and there's probably a woman
Yep.
in there. Jeez,
They organized a march that night that they did that, and all of them were out past the curfew.
Hell yeah!
The women were pissed.
I'm pissed. And it happened now, right?
They didn't mention anything about burning bras, so.
Well, I guess that was a fight for a different time.
It was a fight for a different
Yeah. Yeah.
Free the nipple later. They had to free themselves first.
Yeah, we got to make sure we can get out to free the nipple.
Exactly. Free the women, then the nipple. Got it.
Free the women, then free the girls.
Exactly. A new T-shirt for Cousin Mark. Free the women.
There we go.
Free the girls. I'm gonna work on the Canva after this.
Oh God! Well, now I know I have to
go.
do it too, and I'm not going to send it before we're both ready.
Now we get interesting. In January of 81, a police officer spots a man with a female in the car. And he runs the plates and finds out that they don't match the car that they're on.
He did a switcheroo.
So again, trying to be inconspicuous, you do one of the biggest things that just brings a red flag to you.
Yeah. Right. You're better off just keeping the plates that were on the car and not doing anything sketchy.
Right, because what was the other case we did with you, Cousin Mark, where he just didn't have a plate at all?
And he had the body in the trunk.
Yeah.
That was Joel Ripken.
Yeah.
He's like, gee, let me take the plate off, then the police won't, notice me.
No, they'll notice you twice as much.
But that's the thing, and that's how they caught Bundy.
Right.
Bundy was driving erratically. The cop pulled him over for a DUI.
Right.
It's not any smart police work.
No.
It's just being at the right place and getting the right person.
Luck of the draw and doing your job correctly.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's got them detained. So the guy that's there, he says, I need to relieve myself. So the officer allows him to go off to the side of the road to relieve himself, which is where he threw the hammer and the screwdriver that was in his pockets.
Oh, my God. Do you know how many Cops episodes I watch now? They're like, oh, I gotta pee. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Like, or I want a cigarette.
Or
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Go, stand nearby so if they drop something, you'll hear it. Like, you don't have to watch, but you'll be able to hear.
Well, I understand if they're trying to give the man dignity on his own, but
yeah, but you're
I
looking
don't know.
at him for something suspicious. So I feel like
he had him in eyesight, but it's dark out when your hands are in front of you like this, and you just pull it out of your jacket and toss it.
I'm just
like when you were kids.
How big was this man? He's got tools in his pockets.
He was just happy to see him.
Right, exactly. There's Hannah's sticker. It'll be a hammer coming out of a pair of pants that says, just happy to see you.
It's like the flasher. Hi. So the officer arrests both of them for solicitation and everything like that. So he brings them in. And he just so happens to look up at the artist sketch that was in the police precinct. He goes, wait a second. This guy looks exactly like that. And you'd figure with everything that they got going on, trying to find this guy, the officer would have been a little more
diligent.
Yeah, knowing that he looks like somebody.
Oh, man.
It makes no sense. Even back then, it doesn't even look like people had common sense then either. But the officer eventually realizes it while he's there, so they have him. He goes, wait a second. I let that guy go relieve himself.
Oh, shit.
I'm going back there to sweep the area. And that's when he ended up finding the hammer and the screwdriver and realized who he had. He had Peter William Sutcliffe, 35 years old. And while he was in custody, gave a detailed confession.
Oh.
Just came right out and, you guys are not going to believe this story I have to tell you. And off he goes.
Oh God. Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, that took a very hard right there.
Oh, he did not give up any fight at all. Just a big wuss.
Just a big wuss. Just a big wuss.
Now, folded like a change lounge.
The puns are great. Like, I don't know what to say. I feel like that's so, you're building and building, and then it's like, eh.
And then he gave up.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah, very
it is
anticlimactic. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I don't tell the story. This story's already been told.
That's
I'm just
true. You're just telling
filling
it.
you in.
Yeah.
God,
That's it.
Mark, you're saying you have no control how the Yorkshire Ripper ended?
No.
Man.
But I do know he pled guilty to 13 counts of manslaughter by reason of insanity.
He was going for the insanity part.
He figured if he was insane, he'd go to asylum and, live out the rest of his life in comfort.
I mean,
honestly,
but during that time,
asylum's worse.
Yeah, I don't know that an asylum versus prison, I would take asylum. I think I would have taken prison at that time.
He ended up taking the stand in his own defense, but it really didn't help him out that much.
Okay, what is with these guys doing? Defending themselves, taking the stand by themselves?
That's the insane part for me. That's where I'm like, ooh, there's your insanity right there. Yeah.
Well, 3 psychologists came to the conclusion of he was a paranoid schizophrenic. But his wife had suffered from it, so he knew all the symptoms.
Yeah, he knew how to show all the signs that that's what he was doing.
Well, that's an interesting point because I don't have ADHD, but I know Rob has ADHD. I could manifest as having ADHD easily for a little while.
I mean, and ADHD is one of those things that looks different in men and women, but like
true.
You're friends with me and you see how mine looks, so you could just copy what I do and be like, okay, now I've got ADHD.
Yeah. Interesting.
So the jury had to decide if he was crazy or if he was faking it.
Yeah, man.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah, I don't even know.
They ended up figuring out that he was sane and he got a minimum of 30 years, which that drives me nuts. You killed all these people.
30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get a minimum of 30 years and then you're up for parole.
Right.
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting parole.
Their laws over there just make no sense to me.
Yeah. And then you're thinking like, what never makes sense to me when there's like, you see, there's 13 people that he pled guilty to. How many years per person's life are we talking? That's like,
how can you put a year?
A little bit over 2. It's like 2 years and a month for each person. And that's what somebody's life equates out to. Human life equates out to 2 years and a month of imprisonment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, what I would do is I would take their age. Okay. And then what would be their life expectancy?
Yeah. And
how old do you think they could live to? And then those are the years that you get for each person.
I think that makes sense. I actually would vote in favor of that.
If you kill a 14-year-old like Dahmer did, that 14-year-old could have lived till he was 70.
You took a lot of life from somebody, so someone should take a lot of life from you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you should have
free.
You should have even the thought that you could get out.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, that hope piece. I agree.
After he was found guilty and things were moving on, the police that were working on all this, all the head investigators and everything like that, they all got demoted.
Oh, shit.
They were given lesser jobs because they clearly did not know what the hell they were doing in this investigation.
Well, that kind of sucks, but I mean... Oh, well.
Yeah.
More botched police work.
Yeah.
My episode was pretty much all about it, too. It's just...
Yeah, it's not like being a weather person here in the United States where you can get the weather wrong and, we'll wake up tomorrow and see what it looks like.
Right.
She was found guilty in May of 81. In March of 84, he was moved to an asylum.
Oh.
Because he basically just went nuts being in prison.
All the confinement.
Yeah. So they ended up moving him.
Or he was pretending again.
Well, they obviously thought there was enough to move him, so.
That's true.
Then in November of 92, he confessed to 2 more attacks that the women survived, and they didn't even charge him.
What? But, what was the point in that?
Because he, again, looking for attention. True. So I come out and I say, I did this, now everybody's looking at me again.
Right, yeah, and it was just as people are starting to forget about who he was and what he did and moving on.
And there was no sense in charging him because he was already in prison, so...
Unfortunately,
that's the tough part.
Though. That sucks because, especially for 2 women who survived it,
Yeah.
There's no justice for those people. They didn't get their moment to confront that situation head on and come to peace for themselves because the person who did it to them received justice.
But that happens all the time.
It does. It just sucks. Maybe that's my inner woman just being like, ugh, I see how often that happens to women and they don't get that moment to confront their attacker if they choose to.
Yep. Yep. Then in 94, he confessed to killing Marguerite Walls, which brought his total to 13.
Jeez Louise.
And they didn't even know that he had killed her either.
Did he have to go back to trial for that one, or did they just shrug their...
No, I don't think. No, they didn't do anything.
Oh, that poor family. Oh, my God.
But it does have a happy ending, though.
For who?
Because he did die. He did die in November of 2020 due to COVID complications.
Oh, bye,
So,
Felicia.
Yeah. And I don't love the idea of anybody dying, but
he only served 13 years before he died, so.
That's really not that long.
No, it's not.
And he only served a few years before he was sent to the asylum, so.
Yes. Yep. But that was William Sutcliffe.
Jeez.
I guess my final reflection is that I can't end the episode with the same way you started the last one. I don't think he's a fine gentleman.
No.
Coward, maybe. Douche canoes for certain.
Yes, big douche
Oh, definitely a douche canoe.
Huge douche canoe.
Yeah.
Both paddles.
But that, like I said in the beginning of this show, that's what people look like. You don't expect them to look like a pleasant person. When they're doing monstrous things, you expect them to look like a monster.
Yeah.
A very wise woman told me when I was maybe 18 years old, the people who look the most put together are the most fucked up, and you should be cautious of them.
Oh, yeah.
And that has lived true in my head ever since it was said to me.
Most of the nicest people are covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
And the most judgmental people go to church every day.
100% agree with you on that, Cousin Mark.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the context that I was having with this person was more about like the families that judge and they throw stones from a glass house where they're like, look at my perfect family with the white picket fence. She's like, when you're looking at those people in their perfect house with their perfect life, there's a mountain of crap underneath all of that.
Yep.
Like my mother says, you never know what happens behind closed doors.
100%.
You go, Auntie Bernie.
Now we have to have Auntie Bernie has to come now.
I love Auntie Bernie. She cracks me up.
Yeah.
She's a good egg. Are we ready for a card?
We have to do pick a card, any card.
I already picked one. Are we good?
Are you going to send it to Cousin Mark so he can read it? It's his...
No, she can read it. Go ahead.
Good, because she's doing gasp face.
Okay, all right. I'm weird. I understand I'm weird. Like, I have this podcast. I am weird.
We're all weird.
We're very shuffling through this deck, and I'm like, I have like this feeling. I just keep going. I keep going, and then I just pick one. Holly Pierce.
Was this your next door neighbor?
No, God.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, that's who I was thinking about doing an episode on.
Two of Hearts, Holly Piernan. Do you know about Holly Piernan?
No.
Okay, so it wasn't like an out west here case. It's actually one of the reasons why my mom like freaked out when we would play outside is because of Holly Piernan. All right, so Two of Hearts, Holly Piernan. On August 5th, 1993, 10-year-old Holly Piernan was reported missing from Sturbridge. On October 23rd, 1993, her remains were found in a wooded area in Brimfield. If you have any info about this case, please call 1-855-MA-SOLVE.
I just listened to a podcast about her this week because I was thinking about making an episode. Because her name will come up a lot, and when you're talking about Louis Lent, her name will come up.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the disappearance of Molly Bish, her name will come up. So there's a lot of people that they've suspected are connected with Holly, but there's never really anything beyond that. So that's one of the ones that I've been diving down that rabbit hole. So that's super weird that that's the card that you pulled. It's almost like the time we pulled Lynn.
I know.
When I was talking about Lynn.
Did you just have like a feeling in the deck? I had this feeling in the deck. Weird.
I wish there wasn't a deck of missing people from Massachusetts.
I know.
I wish there wasn't two
Yeah,
volumes.
no shit.
I know.
There's another volume they're coming out with, but I really just love the idea that they did the playing cards to put them into the jails to see if people would talk about the cases. I mean, if you wanderers haven't seen, I mean, obviously we pull a card every time, but if you missed the part where we talked about it, the Massachusetts State Police came up with the decks as a way to hopefully get prisoners in jails to talk about anything they might know for leads in the cases. I believe you can get them if you just go on Google. You can usually type them.
But these are from 2021. So I mean,
there's a new
been
volume.
Years.
There's a new volume I was looking at.
Yeah, they're from. Oh, they do get them mail at Framingham.
Yeah.
Well, plus Ashley Flowers does the deck. She does episodes on all the cards
Crime
that she
Junkie.
has.
Yeah. We were looking at getting in the Connecticut deck next, I think. Yeah. Spreading the wealth around to some other places too.
Especially New England. I feel like,
That's the other show that I had listened to before was Dark Down East.
Yes.
And she's based out of Maine and does all of New England.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've listened to a few different podcasts. It's funny because when you're looking up like particular subjects, I find like when you're looking at, like when I was looking at The Babysitter, I was getting all one area. And then like when I was looking at the one on Cape Cod, I kept getting all one area. So it's kind of funny how we all kind of gravitate to like doing the most about what's near to us. Yeah, absolutely. Proximity based.
All right. Well, if we can get some of the listeners to throw out a suggestion to me about my next episode, maybe they can do that. We'll see what happens.
Do you have ideas for what you want, or do you want just a totally random write-in?
No, probably someone serial killerish.
Well, let's do it this way. You come up with 3 names that you were thinking you might want to do, and I'll put a poll up on Instagram, and we'll get them to vote in on what one you do next.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Is something on fire? I'm sorry, Cousin Mark. No. I can smell something burning.
Burning?
Yes, I smell a burning smell.
Well, there's candles on.
It's like when you leave the iron on. It's like when you leave the iron on something too long. Yes.
Oh my God.
Is there a fire? Hey, hang on, there's a fire.
Oh boy, don't burn the house down.
I'm getting water. I'm getting water.
Holy shit, people. They're talking about getting water and throwing water on. Hopefully everything's okay. That was just a big flash.
Pull me out, and I'm just going to splash water in that direction. I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. Okay, back up. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? I think so. I don't know if we are. Oh my God! Okay, we can't do that again. How are we going to put that out?
Cover it!
Back up! Back up! Oh, Mark is yelling. We're good, Cousin Mark. We're good.
Holy shit.
Okay. Is it good? I think so.
Someone almost burned down the Wicked Wanderings studio.
I knew something was burning. Okay. The best part is that was all recording.
Oh my God.
We're good.
Okay. Oh boy.
We do have to go clean up a mess though.
That's okay. I've been sitting here doing a play-by-play. Next time there's a kitchen fire, cover it with something.
Yeah, we were trying to do that, but it was really hot and it was in the bedroom.
It was a candle.
Oh my God.
Well, we figured it out.
Okay, well,
we love you.
Bye.
What was in it that was making it do that?
I don't know.
Because normally when you toss water on a candle, it goes out.
I'm glad you smelled it.
Why is like something's burning? I feel awful that I just threw water everywhere.
No, it's fine. I'd rather keep my house.
You have more towels? Maybe a towel we can put on?
Hold on, let me get that out of here and these in the sink.
Yeah, because there's got to be something in that candle that when you put water on it. Because I had a candle do that to me on the stove once, and I did the same thing. I did it, and it went one little burst, and then it went out. Because I didn't want you to get close to the candle.
Okay.
I was like, no. We're still recording. Oh.
Thanks for listening today. Wicked Wanderings is hosted by me, Hannah.
And co-hosted by me, Courtney.
And it's produced by Rob Fitzpatrick.
Music by Sasha M.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a rating and review, and be sure to follow on all socials. You can find the links down in the show notes. If you're looking for some really cozy t-shirts or hoodies, head over to the merch store. Thank you for being a part of the Wicked Wanderings community. We appreciate every one of you. Stay curious, keep exploring,
and always remember to keep on wandering.
A sincere expression of gratitude to our esteemed patrons for their generous monthly contributions. Cousin Mark and Ashling, Karen and Stephanie, you too can become a valued patron and unlock a realm of exclusive content by supporting our mission for as little as $3 a month. Your contributions sustain our commitment to delivering high-quality content. Visit wickedwanderingspodcast.com and click on the support tab to join the ranks of our dedicated patrons. Thank you for considering this opportunity to deepen your engagement with Wicked Wanderings. Your support is paramount in enabling us to continue our journey into the realms of mystery and true crime.